Welcome back, everybody. Dr. Minh in the house here. Today we are going to look at one of my favorite appliances. The Carriere appliance can be used in a variety of ways, mostly for class 2, class 3 corrections. Now, we have a really cool article here from the inventor of the appliance himself, Dr. Carriere, who I believe is in South America, I think Brazil, I want to say. Let's take a look at this really cool article together from the Journal of Clinical Orthodontics. To give you an idea what the Carriere appliance actually is, it is a wonderful tool that is a non-surgical corrector of class 2s and class 3s, which basically means where either forward top teeth or back teeth or top and bottom teeth don't quite fit together in a forward-backward dimension. Let's take a quick look here. So this patient here is we call class 3. You see how the whole lower profile, the teeth are a little bit more forward, like a bulldog. A little bit of crowding on top. This is really, really good animation, actually. Let's check this out. There we go. So it's basically a bar that is actually glued onto the teeth itself. And with a series of rubber bands, you can actually slide the teeth into its ideal place. So, let's say throw in some aligners on top and some rubber bands, and you're going to see those lower canines back up to be just in front of those upper canines. Now the patient's still in crossbite with the lower teeth in front, but you see the spacing. Now this spacing in this case is really, really good because you can throw in aligners or braces, tuck the teeth right behind, and what we call jump the bite. There we are. Hopefully the teeth come back pretty soon. There we go. Nice overbite. It's closing up some more. A little bit of space. This is pretty easy correction at this point. It's all downhill at this point. Tuck those teeth back. You're good to go. Look at that. Beautiful. Beautiful. This is one of my favorites. I have this. I have this system. It's great. Great thing about this appliance is it has really minimal chair time in the very beginning. You get to the hardest correction of your case like really hard. Oh, that was my dog right there. There we go. Let's take a look at this one with some video. Here we go. So using the ruler to measure the distance between your molars and the canines right here. So just in front of the lower canines, put on some composite. Put the brackets on top. So he's using probably a bracket as like their button. My guess it's got a similar case. I'm probably going to put aligners on top. And there's the actual bar with the Carriere appliance. They're going to glue it down on the bottom here. There we go. Composite on each side. There we go. Yeah, you want it to be in the mesial third, which just means like it's like on the towards the midline of like the canine right there. Throw in some Carriere light. Basically lets the glue kind of set. Covers the whole molar. So they're using aligners on top or an Essex retainer as anchorage. Throw in some elastics, and the only way this works is if the patient actually wears the rubber bands. Hands down, they just have to wear it. That's the only way this whole thing's gonna work. It's a great way to just judge a patient that's actually complying with their treatment. Alright, not bad. Not too bad, not too bad. Very cool. We could take a look at this first case here. Looks like an 18-year-old here. Mandibular prognathism. It just means that his lower jaw is just skeletally in front of his upper jaw. Okay, I mean, you could take a look here in his profile. You can tell already in his profile, upper lip a little bit back. The idea is it's called the E-plane. Nose here goes down to the lower chin. Lower lip is quite in front. Look at it. Even a little bit of mandibular asymmetry. The lower jaw's to the right. Smile on display. You don't really see his upper teeth. Lower jaw's to the right as well. Look at that. Look at it. This is a full-on cross bite. Like lower teeth are just right out in front. Upper jaw is tucked on the inside. So how normal teeth fit together. It's kind of like a lid in a jar. You want your upper teeth to overlap the bottom teeth, like so. Okay, that's what you kind of see on this side over here. But you see his mandibular asymmetry, upper jaw, the teeth are tucked on this side. This is what we call a posterior crossbite here. This is called anterior crossbite, teeth out in front. Those upper teeth should actually be overlapping. Look at this severity. I mean, he is like maxillary deficient out the wazoo right now. Poor guy. You know, luckily he's fully grown at this point. He's probably had this manifest for like, since he was like 9, 10 years old, at least. You put 1,000 orthodontists, you bring this case to a conference, you're going to have around majority of people, I reckon, will do this surgery. At least with, you know, extractions at bare minimum to tuck in the lower teeth. Downside of that is you do that sort of treatment plan, these lower teeth tend to actually retrocline back, meaning it'll actually tip backwards. Not the greatest finish for compensating. SNA kind of move forward. You're not going to expect a whole lot of skeletal change, but you should expect a lot of changes in your mandibular angulation, which you do see right here. Look at that, 73.8 degrees pre-treatment, and backed up by like 5 degrees, which is equal to a little under 2 millimeters of a linear correction of the lower teeth tipped back. Look at this overjet correction. This is amazing. Negative 4 millimeters of anterior crossbite, and they get a positive 1.4 millimeters. That's pretty cool. Patient's bite opened up as well, 8.3 millimeters. Normally you want it to be around like 2-3 millimeters at max. A little bit of a shallow bite at the very end, 0.2 millimeters, but I think the patient's just thrilled at this result, most likely. Okay, I would be. Non-surgical, it's pretty cool. Wow, there we go. So they threw in this case, a Carriere, but it's really, really clear right here. Rubber bands, they put some wires on top, also copper nye tie. Combination of flexibility and some stiffness with the copper added onto it. And the shape is a rectangular wire. My preference is to go into like a little bit of a heavier wire to throw this on, but perhaps maybe they started out with some lighter elastics. Let's say 1/4 inch, 6 ounces. Those are pretty strong. You have to wear this all the time in order for this to work. You will see spontaneous spacing that happens just in front of these canines here. Got to give it some shot. This is after just 6 weeks. So this is, to get any sort of space at this point in my experience, it's pretty good. I don't really expect to see spacing really until like the second visit. So probably like 8 to 10 weeks after this visit, right away you already see a good amount of spacing. Here we go. This canine is backing up to fit. Here we go. Now there's a little bit of an overcorrection right here. He's getting to almost a class 2 correction where the upper teeth are a little too far in front. Both sides. So their goal is just to probably jump this bite. They're just thrilled to jump the bite at this point. Wow. It looks really, really good. This appliance here, and a type of expander, they called it a Transforce 2 palatal expander. I haven't used one, but it's similar to a Quad Helix. It looks like in this case, it's also trying to rotate these molars. Let's take a look at the beginning. Do they have the occlusal photos? No, I guess this is the first occlusal photo over the upper arch. So it's rotating those molars out of class 3, trying to jump the posterior crossbite at this point. So you're trying to make the lid a little bit wider than like the jar. All right. Make the lid a little bit wider. There we go. See, a little class 2. It's still mandibular asymmetry. They're probably throwing out a ton of elastics at this point. 2.5 months transverse development. That's really good. For Transforce 2, 2.5 months of time. Pretty good appliance right there. It's most likely like dental expansion. I don't think it's going to be skeletal expansion by any means. But the patient's just thrilled. Everything's just going to fit together. If you have that type of expansion, you might get spontaneous asymmetry to where the body's no longer compensating with this lower midline. And here's some settling right here. This is great. What a beautiful finish. You want your canines to just fit. That's what really determines a smile right here between these two teeth. The rest of it falls in place. Look at his profile. What a tremendous improvement here. Look at this. Look at that. Still a mandibular asymmetry, lower jaws to the right. I mean, that's what you expect. It's non-surgical correction. Beautiful arch development. Look at that. teeth are lined up. This is really cool. Now this is the real judge of the case. Is what do they look like post? See lots of straight teeth all the time on Instagram, but the real judge is how do they actually look in an X-ray? It's a real judgment. Looks like the lower teeth retroclined a little bit, so basically just tipped back. The upper teeth as compensation will tip slightly forward. That is just one compromise in treatment. Like you're not going to get the ideal inclination. But the great part is it was done non-surgically and just elastics. It's pretty great. I think it's a pretty good result. Great work. You can tell even just clinically, the teeth are just sloped forward. My guess is most likely surgery was discussed with the patient and it was just decline. 18 years old, boys tend to have like a extra growth of like residual growth later on, even in their early 20s, like a second growth spurt. One of my best friends had one. Grew another like 3-4 inches. Let's take a look at another case. Female. Very concave profile here. Mandibular asymmetry to the right. Who knows how long she's been like this for a while. Anterior crossbite. Posterior crossbite. You see those top teeth tucked in on the inside. Upper teeth. Nice and upright. Lower teeth. Slightly retroclined, I think. Just eyeballing it. You can see in a total profile. I'm curious what this is going to look like at like the very end of this thing. Again, you're not going to see a whole lot of skeletal change. I mean, what, like 74.3 degrees, 75.1 degrees post-treatment. So a good solid almost 2 degrees of correction. Okay, it's a couple of millimeters. Let's take a look at the overjet. Negative 2.4 millimeters to a positive 2.1 millimeters. So 4 millimeter correction of overjet. Right, so start with like a bulldog look of 2.4 millimeters. And now the top teeth overlap the bottom by 2.1 millimeters. Elastics, this says after 6 weeks of initial leveling and aligning. So they got into an upper, again, 1425, copper night high, rubber band. So it's probably quarter 6 ounce elastics. Gotta wear this full time. That's the way this is gonna work. You gotta wear this thing full time. There we go. Wow, this is a huge class 3 correction. I mean, look at this. This is like 7 millimeters or something like that. I don't have a ruler. This is probably a good 6 millimeters correction. Wow. Look at that. They worked their way up to a heavier wire, thank goodness. All right, so now you can really crank it up. You can crank up those elastics. This is where you're going to get real correction right here, okay? Hopefully we still get to see some space in the next picture. Bam. Look at this. Canine backed up. There we go. Look at that. This is what we call class 1 canines. Beautiful. Everything's socked in like gears in a car. Look at that. Have spontaneous spacing, just mesial to your canines. They got this result and they're like, yep, we're done with this appliance. Time to bail on this appliance and tuck those bottom teeth in. Slap on some lower braces, crank those teeth back, get some power chains on there, close the spaces, maybe broaden up that arch wire a little bit, get some dental expansion. She's still a little bit of crossbite right here. I bet they probably just arch wire expanded this thing. She's thrilled with this result, I tell you what. Look at that. It's just completely socked in both sides. It's beautiful stuff. Her profile is probably going to say the same, but I mean, suddenly it's like she I don't know if like orthodontists instruct them to like wear makeup and such, like on their like debond days. But suddenly, you know, what I've noticed is that they glow up a lot more after treatment. Look at her smile. Already alone, she's probably thrilled with this result. Let's take a look at her on her first day. Not bad. Not too bad. But then notice like the makeup's done, the hair's done. Look at that. She's loving this result. I guarantee you that much. Look at that. Nice broad arch forms. Great job. But look at this beautiful result, how the teeth just fit together. This is awesome. I'll tell you what, this is awesome stuff. So in her case, her upper incisors proclining a little bit more. Actually worked out in her favor. Lower incisors retroclined a little bit. I mean, this is the natural compensation when you're doing a class 3 case non-surgically. If I were to see this patient, surgery has to just at least be discussed with the patient and given as an option. It has to be discussed with them. That's beautiful results. I think this is great. And I'll tell you what, I do offer the Carriere Appliance. I love it. It is a great way to make those hard AP corrections or anterior posterior corrections like really early. It just means like you want your top and bottom teeth to kind of fit together in a more ideal way before you get onto like full rubber bands, like This is when the patient is like super motivated to get the treatment done. So right away, they're just excited to get any correction. They're throwing on their rubber bands right away versus leveling and aligning your case and your wires. And they're like 8 months into treatment or even like 10 months into treatment. You're making everything straight. Now, the patient at that point starts to question, the orthodontist, hey, how much longer till I'm done? And it's like, we're still like not even halfway in your treatment. But if you can throw on the rubber bands early, get to it as soon as possible, the hardest correction, they see this kind of change, they're super motivated to get to the end goal. What a cool appliance. This is great. I can't wait to get these cases going in the office. Beautiful stuff. If you like what you saw here, don't forget to click the like button, subscribe as I grow out this channel. It's one of the earlier videos. I'm happy to share more content with you as cases get built up, get to share with you a little bit more of like the world of orthodontics and what's going on here on the channel. Thank you very much for those of you that stuck to the very end. Remember, hit the like button, subscribe, share with your friends. Finally got like really cool equipment to build out this channel and get it the way I want it to be and share it with the public. This is wonderful. Great. I'll see you guys soon. Excelsior, everybody. Bye now.